the Patriots announced another team Hall of Famer after giving the honor to Bill Parcells last month, which was great. I thought that was awesome for the team to finally bury that hatchet and do it. And this year, for the player induction, they're going with Super Bowl MVP Julian Edelman. And I saw that graphic and I thought, yeah, perfect. Julian Edelman deserves to be a Patriots Hall of Famer. This is great. Obviously, fan favorite, great player in his time in New England, not a Pro Football Hall of Famer, not one of the all-time greats in the annals of the NFL, but a huge piece of a Patriots dynasty team. And, obviously had a great relationship with Tom Brady and, was very clutch. We'll get to that in a second. But then a second later, I remembered who the other finalists were. Logan Mankins, who will get in someday, absolutely should be in, should get in, and a guy who should be in already, Adam Vinatieri. Like, I love Julian Edelman, and I saw, kids of my age saw more of Julian Edelman than Adam Vinatieri. But I think in the year of 2025, I'm like, how are we voting in Julian Edelman over Adam Vinatieri? Like, Julian's time will come. It will be here. But, like, you walk through the halls of the Patriots Hall of Fame, like, the first things you're going to see are pictures of Adam Vinatieri with his hands up, kicking, field goals to win Super Bowls, kicking it through the snow in some of the greatest wins in team history. He's the greatest kicker in the history of the sport. Second most clutch player in the history of the franchise. Only behind Tom Brady. So, like, they should both get in, like, obviously, and they both will. But we're really putting in Julian Edelman before Adam Vinatieri? Because of the podcast? Because he's a little bit more goofy? Because he played his whole career with the Patriots? That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard the defenders online saying. Well, he played his whole career with the Patriots. Vinatieri played more years with the Colts than he did with the Patriots. And it's like, really? Are you gonna knock a guy down because he didn't play his entire career with the Patriots? Tom Brady didn't do that. Richard Seymour didn't do that. Mike Vrabel didn't do that. Ty Law didn't do that. We're not knocking them. We're not taking them down a peg. I mean, we did with Vrabel for years, unfortunately. But, like, that shouldn't be working against a guy. He's the best player in the history of the league at his sport, at his position. Is it tougher to play wide receiver? Yeah, probably. But Julian Edelman, God love him, didn't even make a Pro Bowl in his time in New England. Adam Vinatieri is the best in the world all time at his position. And directly gave you some of the greatest moments in the history of the franchise. Julian Edelman did too. He has the unbelievable circus catch in Super Bowl 51. He has the game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 49 against Seattle. He's the MVP of a different Super Bowl. And look, I mean, the career is off the charts for Julian Edelman. He absolutely should be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. I don't want it to sound like that. His postseason numbers were incredible. When he retired, I don't know if he still has this. I should have double-checked. When he retired, he had the second most receiving yards in NFL playoff history, only behind a guy named Jerry Rice, whose daughter or niece Julian Edelman took to the prom in high school. Fun fact that you probably already knew. So it's not like Julian Edelman was this scrub. I'm not trying to say that. But it feels like, hey, he had some great quotes. He had great postseason performances. He was best friends with Brady. He spent his whole career here. Let's throw him in. It was like throwing in Kevin Falk over, Richard Seymour and Mike Vrabel. It just didn't make any sense. Or even Lawyer Malloy, for that matter. It didn't make any sense to do that. But, he has the acumen. He had 3 Super Bowl rings. He loves the Patriots. He spent his whole career there. Oh, let's put him in. I think it's embarrassing. As much as I love Julian Edelman, I think it's embarrassing to put him in over Adam Vinatieri. Because you can use the argument, Adam Vinatieri was a kicker. I'll give you one market that absolutely doesn't give a shit about that, and it's Boston. Nobody cares that he was just a kicker. Everyone in New England realizes how important he was to those Super Bowl winning teams. You could tell me he's just a kicker. But when you look at the front page of the Globe, when they're winning Super Bowls, it's the freaking kicker who's on the front page. 2 or 3 of the most important kicks in the history of the franchise. 4. 2 in the Snow Bowl, 2 of the most incredible kicks of all time in that game, and then 2 to win Super Bowls. Like, Edelman's got some great moments. Trust me. Again, he's probably the second or third most clutch player in the history of the franchise, because I'm saying Vinatieri's the second most clutch. Brady, Vinatieri, and then a pretty sizable gap from whoever number 3 is going to be, whether it's Edelman, whether it's Dante Hightower, Rodney Harrison with a couple of picks in the Super Bowl. No matter who you want to go to next, 1 and 2 are pretty solidified, and it's a pretty giant gap until you get to the third one. So I get why people love Julian Edelman, and there's not going to be a lot of pushback to this. But Adam Vinatieri's got to be sitting at home thinking, look, what do I got to do? Like, I was kicking field goals to win the Super Bowl for this team twice. He's got a great story, too. Edelman was a quarterback drafted in the 7th round. Adam Vinatieri is like, man, I'd love to have been drafted in the 7th round. Undrafted, South Dakota State, becomes the greatest kicker in the history of the league. And I got Julian Edelman, who's never made a Pro Bowl, going into the Patriots Team Hall of Fame over him. I got a bit of a problem with it. There's no early dynasty without Adam Vinatieri. And if you had kept Wes Welker and Danny Amendola all those years, you might still have the dynasty. The second dynasty. I love Julian Edelman. I think he deserves to be here. He just doesn't deserve to be in over Adam Vinatieri. That's all. That's all, man. Although, man, we've come a long way. I'll share a personal anecdote real quick. In 2012, I went on a high school class field trip to the Patriots Hall of Fame. And we did this thing where they filmed a TV show in there, like an all-access kind of TV show. And they would bring a player in to ask trivia questions. I was the trivia guy. I got to do it, which was really cool. And I got 4 out of 5. And the one that I got wrong, the answer was Adam Vinatieri. Fun fact. But they bring in like a scrub player. Like they weren't bringing in Brady to ask these questions. Gronk. They weren't asking those questions. And we were kind of discussing it, me and my buddies, as we were going up there, because we didn't know who the player was going to be. And I was like, I think the best case scenario we can get is Julian Edelman. He was a guy who had been on the team a couple of years. He was a valuable player for them, but they had just signed Danny Amendola. Like he wasn't going to be Welker's direct replacement, which he basically ended up being. But he was a nice player who had scored some big touchdowns and things like that. And I was like, and we got Justin Francis, who was a defensive lineman from Rutgers, if you can believe it, a guy that played for Rutgers. And then on the way down, the guy who was running the show told us, oh yeah, we had Edelman in here yesterday. So some other school got scrubbed Julian Edelman, asked them trivia questions. He ends up in the Patriots Hall of Fame and wins 3 Super Bowls and wins Super Bowl MVP and game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl and all that crap. But Adam Vinatieri should be in over Julian Edelman. Sorry if this offends people. I know Julian's a little bit hotter. Sorry if it offends. Adam Vinatieri should be in there first. He should already be in there. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Why isn't it Vinatieri over Julian Edelman? And why am I wrong about it needing to be Vinatieri over Edelman? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and it helps us a lot on the march towards 4,000 subscribers. Get the word out there. We're talking nothing but Boston sports 5 days a week, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the other videos on the channel. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week, baby.